Welcome back to Inside the Locker Room, presented by Weatherford BMW of Berkeley. Joining us now is Rich Feller, the volleyball coach, the winningest volleyball coach in Cal history, and starting a brand new season. And looking at your roster, the players and also coaches, it's like a reunion tour, so to speak. You've got assistant coaches coming back that have been gone for either a year, a couple of years. You got players, obviously, that were injured last year. But I want to start by talking about maybe one of the most heartwarming stories we've seen here in a long time, and that's Savannah Rennie coming back from, a year ago. She wasn't sure what her future might be, and she had to go through a surgery and is now back with your team and practicing. Just tell us what it's like to have her back in the fold.
Well, it's absolutely wonderful to have her back here. Seeing her walk in the gym every day puts a smile on my face, and the remarkable recovery she's made. And from a year ago, obviously, an unbelievable recovery, but just from 2.5 months ago when she had her surgery to now being in the gym and participating in practice in a limited fashion, of course, but there's a volleyball player out there again, and it's just amazing to see that. And the team has welcomed her back. We've welcomed her back. She's in heaven just being back on the court and able to do what she loves doing.
I mean, do you expect her to play this year?
We don't know. She's got some major recovery for basically the physicalness of what goes on with a liver transplant, with any kind of major transplant. She got opened up and muscles were cut and stitched back together. And so really it's rebuilding muscle and getting that body back into the high performance body that it was. For the liver part of it, I think everything is really good. She could lead a normal life right now, but volleyball at this level is a little different than that. So we'll see. We're keeping our options open.
Well, it's good just to have her back, that's for sure. All right, you've got a couple of coaches returning as well. You got Matt back on the staff after having spent a couple of years at the Air Force Academy. Jennifer Dorr is back as well. So, and you've hired a couple of new assistants as far as other roles are concerned as well. So you've got like a new staff, but it's not necessarily a new staff.
Yeah, it's kind of a reunion tour, so to speak. Matt's back after 6 years as head coach at the Air Force Academy, and the knowledge that he brings back as a head coach now, added to the unbelievable volleyball knowledge he had already, just really enhances our staff and our team. And the team is really responding to his coaching style and his teaching methods. And having Jennifer back after a year off maternity leave, it's great to have her back in the gym, hearing her voice, working with the setters, and doing a lot of things with the recruiting and the defensive moves and everything else. It's nice to have her back in the gym again, kind of, like we said, a little bit of a reunion there. And then we hired, if you could use that word for a volunteer, Colby Kanataki, who's just graduated from University of Hawaii. He was a 2-time All-American as a libero, and he is an amazing young man in the gym already. He's shown his skill for playing every position, but also his coaching ability. And he called me up and said, I want to become a coach. Is there a place on your staff for a volunteer? So he moved himself out here from Hawaii, out of his comfort zone. He's living on practically nothing, volunteering, and he's really devoted to becoming a coach. So it's a great staff. We really like what's going on in the gym every day. There's a lot of energy. The players are responding to everybody on the staff, and it's a new year.
Well, we did tell him as we walked into the office today that he has to root for Cal when they play Hawaii in the football game this week. So we got to make sure that he's on board with that. You mentioned libero. That's where you have great experience and a tremendous leader as well. Maddie Kerr is back. You also have your setter back as well. Talk about having the leadership from those two people. Yeah,
it's a bonus for us this year. Really, 3 of our returning seniors are all full-time starters, with Alyssa at the setting position, Janelle Jordan in the middle blocker position, and Maddie Kerr at the libero position. So those 3, 2 of those are going to be on the court all the time, and the third one will be on half the time. So having 3 very experienced leadership group on the court and in practice every day is another bonus for us this year. With the large squad that we have, having strength at that leadership position is really important. Having good, strong personalities, and they're not all the same personalities, but having those strong personalities, be able to disseminate that leadership throughout that big team is really, again, something that I think is going to work to our advantage.
We're talking with Rich Feller, the volleyball coach for the California Golden Bears, who open up this week in the Moulton Classic against UC Riverside in southern Utah. I want to real quickly talk about an Olympian that you got, Carly Lloyd. Now, as we tape this, the Olympic Games are not over, so we don't know the final conclusion for volleyball. But just to have somebody, I mean, she was the Player of the Year when she was here, Final Four for you guys. Did a tremendous job here, and for her to get an opportunity. She's been with the Team USA for quite some time, but to get a chance to play in the Olympic Games has to be great for not only her but your program.
Yeah, and I'm so happy for her. This is something that she dreamed of ever since she was a little girl, and the cards weren't quite in the right mix when she first graduated here. She had some time with the team, was a little bit injured. The team was more experienced. She went off to Italy and won a couple championships on her Italian teams, and she's played professionally for the last 5-6 years, making little coffee stops with the national team, and she set the team in the Pan Am Games, and she set the team in the World Championships and some other areas where she did very, very well. And at the very end, Karch Karai, the national team coach, Olympic team coach, decided to keep her. She's playing a different role. She's what we call the dub sub, the double substitution. So with international rules, you can only go into a match once, and then you come out and you're done. It's not the same as college substitutions, but she's embraced that role. She gets into almost every single match, every single set, plays 3 rotations, does a great job, and then comes out again. And I think she's just living the dream right now. The U.S. team is doing well. They're the #1 seed. At this recording, they just won their first, I think it's the semifinals, so they're now in the medal round. And hopefully by the time this airs, they've maybe got a gold medal. But she's just a delight, and the setter that's ahead of her was a setter that she faced 3 times in her career, all at the end of the year. The 2007 semifinals in the national championship and the regional championships in the next 2 years, Alicia Glass for Penn State. So what could be more fitting? The 2 best setters in the country in that era are teammates now with the Olympic team.
Well, if, as we tape this, we don't know the final result, but if she gets a gold medal, it won't be the first by a Cal athlete in these Olympic Games, because Cal has had a phenomenal run in the Games. Rich, I know you're excited about having a deep, strong, powerful roster, and we look forward to watching your team this week in the Moulton Classic, and as you progress the opening of conference play, obviously against Stanford on Tuesday, September the 20th. So good luck.
Can't wait. Thanks for being there.
All right, head coach Rich Feller. Volleyball in action this week, football as well. And when we come back, we'll have some final thoughts and Inside the Locker Room presented by Weatherford BMW on the Cal IMG Sports Network.